Yo, what's poppy gamers? Welcome back to a brand new bad business video. And today I have a best GLK setup for you guys. And now normally I would actually post this on Sunday since I have a setup Sunday series. But since we have a brand new weapon and also a Deagle revamp, I'm going to go ahead and do the GLK today. And then this Sunday I'll have a best setup for the Deagle. So for anybody that is looking for a best setup for the Deagle, be here on Sunday. Before we do hop into all of this, I do want to mention that we're doing a brand new format for all these setups. I'm going to try to cater to everyone, but to start every single setup video, I am going to give you guys the meta build that I personally use. So if you guys want that, you guys can have it. And then also I'll have setups for each and every play style. If I do miss any type of play style, if I don't fit your type of play style, please comment down below letting me know how you like to play the game. Whether it's being fast, slow, a good medium, things like that. And I'll try to incorporate those into my setup videos. Anyways, with that said, let's get straight into the first build, the meta build. I'll be putting gameplay of each one of these builds in the background as we talk about each build, by the way. You guys can see how it's performing while we do talk about each and every attachment. Anyways, to start things off for the meta build, we're going to go with the lightweight laser. And the reason why we're going with this, because one, you get better hip fire accuracy. Shouldn't be using that too often, but if you do end up getting in that scenario, you can hip fire and be a little bit more accurate. And then also slightly decreasing camera shake, which is going to be very helpful. Moving to the barrels, we're going to be putting a invader barrel on. The reason for this is for the recoil control, the mobility, and the handling. If you guys don't know what handling does, it's basically your swap speed. So if you do have a trusty secondary like a CBJ or maybe even a Deagle, you guys can swap to that a little bit faster. Although this does decrease your range, it's gonna be made up for because this is currently the strongest build in the game. Moving on to the ammo type, which makes this gun what it is, the rusty bolts conversion. Now, what this does is increases your damage and increases your range and delays enemy health regain, which is pretty crazy. This basically is what everybody's using. If you're dying really quick to this thing, this is what everybody's using. This gun is overall really good, but this conversion specifically makes it insane. Moving on to the grip tape, we're going to be using the granulated tape, and this is to increase recoil control. That's basically all you're going to be using that for. And then lastly, the retracted stock. The reason why you want retracted stock is because it gives you a very nice ADS mobility boost. So basically when you aim down sight and move left or right, or just in general any direction while aiming, it's going to be much faster, which is really nice. And I think that is definitely needed on a lot of builds that people don't really use. But not every single weapon in this game has this ability to have ADS mobility, and you also increase handling with this as well. So make sure you guys do have a good secondary on to swap to your secondary as fast as possible if needed. The GLK does have a fast reload speed of 1.9, which is rivaling the Honey Badger. So it's not necessary to really have a amazing secondary to switch to, but if you ever do get in a scenario to swap, it is definitely good to have. That is currently the meta build that I'm using. This is basically a different variation of what everybody else is using. Everybody's going to put different stocks or maybe even different barrels on depending on their type of play style, but this one fits me perfectly because it still has nice mobility of 93, has decent recoil, and it's very strong with the rusty bolts. Alrighty, moving on to the next setup, which is going to be for my marksman gamers out there. Anybody that loves using snipers or DMRs, this is the build for you. Starting with the first attachment, the lightweight laser. This is again going to increase your hip fire accuracy and also decrease that camera shake. For the barrel option, you're going to be going with a tactical barrel because this comes with a built-in optic, which you can't throw any type of optics on this gun at all. And a lot of people are very upset about that, but I'm gonna be honest, the irons are good, and also this tactical barrel, if you get used to it, it's gonna feel weird at first. I just want to make a big warning of that, and that's why I haven't increased the ADS speed on this build. You guys are gonna notice that is because it just feels really weird when you aim in super fast, but you already aim in fast with this. That's why you don't want to make it any faster. But yes, we're gonna be throwing the tactical build on, or barrel on, to increase the recoil control, visual recoil, and also piercing. When you throw this on, it gives you a piercing of 4, which I believe that makes it where you can collateral up to 4 people or 5 people. I can't remember how that works exactly, but you either can collateral to 4 or 5 people, which is crazy. But yes, you're going to definitely want to use the tactical barrel if you guys are going to go with the marksman ammo conversion, which leads to our next attachment, the marksman ammo conversion. This is going to be infinite range, so you can shoot anybody from any range. It's not going to do any damage drop off, and then it increased damage and also increases piercing once again, which pushes you to that 4 piercing. Like I said, it does decrease your fire rate, but that's a given. But what's a beauty about having this marksman build is that you can headshot people from any range using this marksman conversion. So this has infinite headshot damage range, essentially. As long as you get a headshot, they're dying. It does not matter what range it's at. Moving on to the stock, we're going to go with the retractor stock Roblox once again, because you do want that ADS mobility, considering you'll be aiming down sight a lot with this one. And also you get an increase of handling, so you can swap to your secondary much faster. And that leads into our last perk attachment, which is the tactical holster. This will increase your swap speed. And this might not seem like a great thing to have, and you guys can always swap this for a different attachment if you would like, but I really don't feel like there's really anything to put it on. You can't use muzzles because it doesn't really help at all. You can decrease your vertical recoil, but again, it's really not that great if you can't shoot fast, which you cannot, as you guys see in the gameplay in the background. But yes, the tactical holster will actually help you swap to your secondary much faster. So if you guys have a deagle or any type of secondary that you personally like, this is definitely good to have, so you can have a good backup if you do get rushed, because using this thing CQC is a little difficult, but if you get used to it, I promise you, you'll be able to quick scope people no problem, because you can make this thing accurate without actually fully scoping in. So yeah, good luck to everybody that tries using this. It's actually pretty good. Alrighty, moving on to the next setup, which is going to be something that fits my play style a lot more, but obviously since there's a meta build, I'm going to be using that over this. But whenever the meta build does get nerfed, this is the setup I'm going to be switching to, which is a mobility build. Basically, this is going to be decent recoil, good damage, and also fast mobility. But yeah, to start this off, I'm going to be using the muzzle brake to help with the vertical recoil, because this does have quite a bit of recoil to it. That's because we're using no ammo type on it, making it full auto, which does give it quite a bit of kick. Next up on this is going to be the invader barrel to increase the recoil control, increase mobility, and handling. And the next attachment is going to be the granulated tape to once again increase that recoil control. And moving on to the stock, which is going to be the minimal stock. The reason why I went with this is to have flinch resistance, because whenever I get shot when I'm using this gun, I do have quite a bit of flinch. And then also to decrease the horizontal recoil. So this attachment with the muzzle brake works wonders, because you're reducing the vertical, and then for the stock you're reducing the horizontal, so you have both, best of both worlds there. And then lastly, we are throwing on the lightweight to push us to 97 mobility. Now you can get this to 101 mobility. You can take off either the stock or the granulated tape if you guys want to, or if you guys really don't care about vertical recoil, take off the muzzle brake and you can throw on the Rusty Bolts shortened conversion, and this will push you to 101 mobility. But keep in mind, you'll no longer have the automatic ability to this weapon. So that's why I personally have not put on the Rusty Bolts, or else I would have. But if I was trying to have the fastest mobility and having to click a lot, I would switch to the Rusty shortened conversion. So it's up to you guys what you guys want to do. But yes, this is my mobility build, and this is definitely what I would be using if the meta build got nerfed. Alrighty, moving on to the last build for this video, which is for my slow but dangerous players out there. This is going to be for the type of players that don't mind having a slower build, but you also get a good damage and low recoil. So it's for my passive players that like to hold down certain areas. To start this build off, we're going to be going with the lightweight laser, and we've used this for 3 builds now, but it increases hip fire and also camera shake, reduces that, which is very nice. Moving on to the muzzle, we are finally throwing on a monolithic because this will be a little bit helpful with that damage. And for our grip, we are throwing on a ranger grip. Now, like I said, this build is for people that do not care about ADS speed and just mobility in general. They do not care about this, so that's what this build is for. This will increase your recoil control and decrease recoil. But like I said, it will decrease mobility and ADS. You can swap that out for something else if you feel like this build already has good recoil, but that's up to you. Moving on to the grip tape, which is going to be the granulated tape. This increases your recoil control. And then lastly, the stock, and we're going to be throwing on the marksman stock to decrease that vertical recoil and also that recoil control. You can try out the full stock, which actually reduces base recoil, but I still noticed that marksman stock did have a better recoil control overall. But if you guys want to try out the full stock, you can also do that. But yes, that is going to be all the builds for today's video. I hope this was helpful for anybody that likes to play Bad Business. If I did miss a build that would fit you perfect, please let me know down below in the comments how you like to play the game, so I can try to think of another playstyle type build for everybody. For these setup videos, I want to try to cater to any type of player, so that's kind of the goal for these videos. If you guys did enjoy this and want to see more, make sure you guys leave a like down below. It'd be much appreciated. But with that said, consider hitting that subscribe button for more content like this, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out.